I felt this Anthony Davis was in LeBron's way. You know what I mean? Because LeBron's really a four now, and that's the position that Anthony Davis wanted to play. He was always on the box. He wasn't really stretching the three that well. Now you add another guard, not even just another guard. Let's just make that clear. You add top 5 guard in the NBA.
Top 5 player
that can get it from anywhere, and he's a matchup nightmare. When 77 walk in the building, OKC, Minnesota, Phoenix, Clippers, they dread seeing him. And now he got 2-3 on his back, right with him.
Interesting take there. S.A., do you agree that AD was actually in LeBron's way?
Believe it or not, I do.
What's going on, everybody? It's Rick One Ball. Do me a favor and smash that like button as we approach 40,000 subscribers. Air Jordan giveaway coming soon. Take a look at my community post for all the details. Now, we got to get into wow, Stephen A. Smith agreeing with Marcus Morris that Anthony Davis is in LeBron James' way. Now, before I unpack that, obviously understanding the elephant in the room that Stephen A. and LeBron James have beef. And it all came down to a head once he started attacking and slandering Bronny James, who just had 17 points last night. Albeit in a blowout, he still had 17. That was the silver lining in that game, and that just means he's coming along. Not only is he performing in the G League, but now he's starting to put together some games in the NBA. But enough of that. LeBron James, 40 years old. Anthony Davis, 32 years old, and they're saying that he's in the way of LeBron James. But they're not just talking about the injury history, even though Anthony Davis is frequently injured. And I do want to give him credit because last year he was able to string together 76 games. I mean, that was a complete outlier, but he strung together 76 games played, so you got to give that man credit to where it's due. But what they're referring to is that Anthony Davis noticeably and always frustratingly saying he does not want to play the 5 position, to the point where it's sickening and it's toxic to the locker room. Jeanie Buss got tired of hearing it, and he kept going to the media.
Satisfied with the roster. Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having a big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4. I think our 19-20 team was like the perfect construction of a team.
And even though Anthony Davis has a point with what he said, and they were able to actually put together the results and win that bubble championship, and I don't know why people call it a bubble championship, and win that NBA championship, people didn't want to hear it. He has the body type, the size, and the strength to be able to play the 5. And organizations don't always want to hear you griping and complaining all the time about things they want to need, things they need. That's just spending money. And they don't necessarily like spending money. I mean, honestly, the center position has been going away and almost extinct for years. And when you look at the NBA, it's only like a couple real centers. So who is he fearing? What is he scared of? Other than Joel Embiid, who's always plagued with injuries, and Nikola Jokic, who's always a constant potential MVP candidate, that's literally the only 2 centers I could think of that really, really can scare Anthony Davis. I mean, what are we talking about? Karl Anthony Towns, maybe the next step in New York? And look, we see how that's working out. So Jeanie Buss and the Lakers were forced to do something and force a trade that really didn't make that much sense then and still doesn't make sense now.
If this works, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029 first-round pick for Luka, Maxey, Kleber, and Markieff Morris. There's no way this works. There's no way. You're asking me to give away a valuable asset when none of the assets I get back seem nearly as valuable. That's not.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. Smith was forced to say something good about LeBron James, even though he doesn't want to. Even during the Celtics-Lakers game, during the halftime show, he specifically said, "We talked enough about LeBron James. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about Jason Tatum." So this segment right here where he actually admitted that Anthony Davis was in LeBron's way, I found it interesting.
Interesting take there. S.A., do you agree that AD was actually in LeBron's way?
Believe it or not, I do. And I think that that was an excellent analysis on the part of Marcus Morris. And by the way, just as an aside, give props to Marcus and Markieff. They've been in the league for a long time. They've been on a lot of different teams. They're always a plus. They're never a minus, and they bring a lot to the game of basketball. And I think once they both retire, you're going to see both of them doing some television work. I really, really believe that. Having said all of that, I want to go back to Luka Doncic, Eminem, Jay, from the perspective of J.J. Redick. This is a quote 2 weeks before the Luka Doncic trade. J.J. Redick says, we don't have a guy on our team that's going to necessarily always draw to the ball. This is what he said on January 19th after a 116-102 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. He says, we don't have a guy on our team that's going to be able to get past his guy one-on-one and get to the paint and spread it out to the perimeter. Like, that's just not our team. Now, if you remember when LeBron and J.J. Redick were doing their podcast together, okay? And if you remember the aftermath of that, when J.J. Redick talked about what the Lakers needed and what the geometry of the L.A. offense should be, what they were talking about, J.J.'s aspiration was to be a high three-point volume shooting team. That's what he wanted. The Lakers were averaging 33.8 three-point attempts per game, which ranked 27th in the league before Luka arrived. They now average 41.7, and it's 6th in the league. And so this style of play, yeah, Rob Pelinka might have got that call. But I assure you, when he went to J.J. Redick said, do everything you can to get that damn deal done. Because Luka Doncic coming to our team, being able to draw attention from defenses is going to free up others to shoot threes. And one of those people are going to include LeBron James, who's essentially your wideout because he gets to operate more in open space. He gets to play bully ball when he wants to because he's 6'9", 260, or he gets to step outside because he's improved his three-point shot. And oh, by the way, he's having more uncontested three-point shots than he ever has had in a Lakers uniform. This is what Luka has brought to the team. This is the aspiration J.J. Redick had. And that's what I think makes Marcus Morris very, very accurate and astute with what he was saying, because it just happens to be true. It's proven to be true.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I say even though Anthony Davis and LeBron James were real cool, they were real tight, there's absolutely no way he didn't know about this trade. You figure, like I said, Rob Pelinka knew about this trade. You knew JJ somehow, some way knew about this trade. I don't think it was just internal between Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka. I don't think that at all. I think this was a much-needed move. I think Anthony Davis kept voicing displeasure about playing the 5, and that ultimately got him shipped out of Tinseltown. You cannot keep telling the Lakers you don't want to play the 5. Bro, all the greats, a lot of the greats, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they played that 5 position. And you were great as well. You just had an availability issue. But you was able to play 76 games last year. So I don't believe that if he wouldn't have went and had that interview with Shams Charania, still voicing displeasure about playing the 5, I'm not sure if he would have actually got put out of town. I don't know. I was thinking that the Lakers were going to stand pat until LeBron retires and then kind of rebuild the whole thing. And see where they land. But they pulled the trigger early, got him out of there, and now the Mavericks are suffering. I feel so bad for Mavericks fans. I really do. Mavericks fans went from going to the finals last year, 2024, to 2025. This is a for sure rebuild. I mean, literally, you're talking about forfeiting games just because you don't got enough players and enough staff to put on the court, enough personnel. I mean, you talk about Mavericks fans, boy, this is bad. It's absolutely bad. But Marcus Morris was absolutely correct. I believe that that's what it is. I do believe that he was in LeBron's way, and I do believe that LeBron has a legit chance of winning that 5th title. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. You guys already know who it is. It's your boy, Rick One Ball. Like, comment, subscribe.